Good morning kids, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. I'm Khushbu Patel from Saraswati Group of Education and today we are meeting for the revision session of the chapter number 1. Right, as you know only that your exams are approaching very soon. So we are just taking the quick recap of what we have done in chapter number 1 and chapter number 2. So first we are going to start with chapter number 1. I hope you remember what was the chapter's name. That was more about plants. What were the topics we have covered in that chapter? We have covered these many topics in it. Right. What was that? The first one was reproduction. Second one was germination. Then seed dispersion. And last, crops and stages of agriculture. This we have completed in chapter number 1. So here I am just giving you the outline of this chapter so that you can have a great knowledge. Right? You can understand the topic as well. Now kids, we know that plants are considered as the living organism. Right? So plants are also performing certain actions like the animals. Like the way animals are reproducing, same way plants are also reproducing. Maybe they have a different method for reproduction, but yes, the number of plants are also increasing. That is called as reproduction. Right? So reproduction in plant can be done through stem, it can be done through leaf, it can be done through roots, and it can be also done through spores. Right? We have studied that. You can cut the stem and that stem can be sown in some other soil. Roots are also that if you are providing a water to cutted root, then also it will grow into a new plant. Some of the plants like Bryophyllum have the capacity to reproduce from the leaf. Right? The edges of the plant or the edges of the leaf will have a small new leaf. If you will cut that and then you will sow it into the soil, then it will grow into a new plant. So that was what? It is considered as a reproduction. Now, the next one is germination. What is germination? When you sow a seed into the soil, it grow into a plant. We all know that most of the plants grow from seeds. But when the seed will grow, it will grow only if it has the proper condition. What are the proper condition? Like if I say that proper air, proper temperature, sufficient sunlight, and most importantly sufficient water. So these are the 3 or you can say 4 main factors due to which seeds will germinate into the baby plant. Right? So that is what? Germination of a seed. Right? We have also drawn a diagram of germination or you can say stages of germination in our classwork. Right? That how seed is getting converted into baby plant, then young plant and then adult plant. Adult plant means, yes, when they have flowers and fruits. Right? So, from this 3 factor, that means air or temperature, sunlight and water. From this 3 factor, any one of the factor is insufficient or absent, then seed will not grow properly or it will not have the healthy product. Right? So the second process which we have seen in this chapter was germination. Right? Moving further to the next one, that is seed dispersion. For that you need to understand the meaning of dispersion. Dispersion means moving away from the original place. Right? Seeds are going away from their original plant. is known as seed dispersal. There are different methods through which the dispersal of a seed can be seen. Do you remember any? Yes, by wind, by water, by explosion, or by animal. Right? These four we have seen that the seeds, like coconut seeds, they float in the water and they get transferred from one place to another place. So water is helping in what? Dispersion. Then wind, right? Like dandelion's flower. Their seeds are very light in a way. They can move away with the help of wind, right? Then by animals. Animals are eating fruits and vegetables, but their body cannot able to digest the seed. So that seed will come out through the stool, right? Waste product. Okay. So from that seed, if the proper factors are there, if the conditions are fulfilled, then from that seed again the new plant will grow. Xanthium grass, or the fruit of a xanthium grass, that is cocklebur. It may stick to the body of animal, and when the animals move from one place to another place, that seed will also move with that animal. So what is that? It is a seed dispersion. So we can say animals are helping in a seed dispersion. Right? By explosion. Some of the seeds are explode when they are ripened. जब पक जाते they will explode and they will scattered away. So what is that? Seed dispersion. Right? So I hope you remembered that also. Now, the last section of this chapter was about the agricultural practices and crops. We know that in India, where people are engaged with the farming practices, right? They are growing different type of crops, like oil producing crops, fiber crops, food crops, right? And we also go through the seasonal change. So some of the crops are grown into the winter season, that is Rabi crops. Some of the crops are grown after summer season but before monsoon season, right? So that is what? Kharif crop. Many vegetables, fruits and pulses are grown in the particular season, right? So they are considered as a Kharif crop and Rabi crop. Then after we have seen that the way babies need, right? The baby are in need of a nourishment and care. Same way, the crops which are grown in the agriculture, or you can say in the farm, they also require certain nourishment. So protection, spraying of pesticides and insecticides, right? Then giving them a fertilizer and manure, sufficient water, protecting the crop from the grazing animal by putting the fencing are what? They are the factors to save the crop. After that, we also need to store it properly. While storing, we have to take care that yes, it has not been destroyed by the rodents like rat and some insect, right? Right? So these was the thing which we have covered in chapter number 1. Again I am telling you kids that in your objective paper, 4 mark questions will be such which I have taken out from the textbook anywhere. Not from the exercise, not from the chapter and worksheet. So please read the textbook. So this was the main points of chapter number 1. Now we are moving further. So kids, now we are starting with the main points of chapter number 2, which we have completed recently only. Chapter number 2 is all about animals, right? Animals in their surrounding. Now how many topics we have covered in that chapter? these many topics. Right, so one by one we are going to take a quick recap of all the topic. The first one is about habitat. What is the meaning of habitat? Yes, living place. The area where animals are living, taking food, taking shelter are considered as its habitat. And based on the habitat of animals are categorized into two broad categories. Do you remember that? Yes. The first one is aquatic animal, and then the second one is terrestrial animal. Right? Animals living in water are considered as aquatic animal. They may be living in fresh water like river and ponds, and some of the animals are living in the salty water like sea and ocean. Right? Terrestrial animal. Animals living on land. Maybe burrowing animals, maybe living in desert area, maybe living under the soil. Right? So they all are considered as terrestrial animal. Like the flying birds, which is also known as aerial animals. Sloth and panda, which are passing their most of life on trees. Right? So what is that? Arboreal animals. But yes, trees are on the land of course. So they are known as what? Terrestrial animals. Right? So this was about habitat. Then moving further, that is types of animal which we have covered, that is aquatic and terrestrial animals. Arboreal, aerial, and yes, one is amphibians, which live on both land as well as in water. Right? So these was types of animals. Then after, body covering. We know that on the earth, the temperature of the entire earth is actually not similar to each other places. If we are here having a monsoon, some other part of the world may have maybe summer season or winter season. Right? So, according to the area in which animals are living, they have certain layers on their body, which is considered as body covering. If you remember, like scales, fish and snakes are having scales on their body. Some of the animals are having shell, like turtles. Some of the animals like polar bear, Arctic fox, they have fur on their skin, like a soft toys, right? Because they are living in the cold area, so that fur will give a protection against extreme cold. Some of the animals like sheep will have wool, and many animals are having a trick to hide themselves from the predator. That is what? Camouflage. Right? So many animals are having a different type of a body covering which is helping them to have the protection. Like if I say feathers, right? In birds, they have a feathers to fly, but they are also giving protection against the different environmental changes. Right? So that was what? Body covering. Next, eating habits. We know herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, plant eating animals, animal eating animals, and both plant product as well as animal product eating animals. So according to their food habit, animals will have different type of teeth for cutting and chewing. Like if I say zebra, the front teeth are very sharp, right? And the back teeth are broad so that they can chew the food. Tigers, they are carnivores, so they have very sharp front teeth so that they can cut the flesh They can cut the meat of the other animals, right? So depending on the food habit, all the animals will have different type of teeth, which is also considered as eating habit, right? Some birds are also carnivores, like if I say eagle and vulture. So they have a curved beak so that they can tear the flesh of animals very easily, right? So animals may be terrestrial animal, or you talk about the aquatic animals. All the animals will have a different body structure, not only for eating purpose but for breathing purpose as well as for the movement. That is our next two topic, right? So body design are in such a way where they can survive wherever they are living, right? So moving further to the next topic, that is breathing method. We know that all living organisms are breathing. They are exhaling oxygen. They are inhaling oxygen and they are exhaling carbon dioxide, right? So all the animals will have a different structure of the body through which they are breathing. If I talk about humans, they breathe through the nostril, right? This too. Then they have a trachea, which is also known as a windpipe, which is connected with the lungs. So I can say that humans, birds, reptiles are breathing through their lungs. Small insect, they have a spiracles, or you can say spiracles, which is connected to a trachea. It's a network of a tube all over the body. So all that pipeline like tube are taking the oxygen from the atmosphere and then it is passed into the entire body, right? So I can say that all the animals will have a different breathing method. If I talk about the aquatic animals like fish, tadpole, frog, whale, dolphins, shark, all they are living in water, but all that are having a different breathing habit, right? Now see, if I talk about fish, they have gills, right? We have seen that in the explanation portion. Gills through which they are taking the oxygen which is dissolved in water. पानी में जो mix है, that oxygen they are taking, right? So I can say that fish are breathing through the gills. They don't have a nose like us. They don't have a lungs like us. So they breathe through gills. Then if I talk about frog, when they are in water, they breathe through their skin. When they are on land, they breathe through their mouth, that means through lungs. You may have seen that when frogs are breathing, this portion of their neck is swelling up, right? So why? Because they are amphibians, right? If I talk about dolphins or whale, they have a blowhole on their head, right? Through which they are taking oxygen and they are removing carbon dioxide. While removing carbon dioxide, they also remove the excess water from their body, right? So what is that? Yes, it is a breathing method. The next one, if I say that the next is earthworm, a very small insect living under the soil, which is breathing through its skin. So in short, we have covered many animals in the breathing method topic, right? They have different method to breathe, right? So we are moving to the next one, that is movement. What is movement? Locomotion, halan chalan. All the animals are having different method of movement, right? Animals are moving on their four legs. Animals like us, that means humans, they walk on their two legs, right? So, forelimbs and hind limbs. I hope you remember. Forelimbs means front leg. Hind limbs matlab back legs through which they are moving. If I talk about kangaroo, they hop. If I talk about lizard, crocodile, they walk with their short legs. If I talk about snake, which have no legs, snake does not have any legs, so they crawl on the ground with the help of the flexible backbone as well as the muscle, right? So all the animals are having different, yes, movement method. Some aquatic animals like insect, they swim through their legs. Duck, they swim through their webbed feet. Fish, they swim through their tail fins and fins other, right? Penguin, which is a bird but only a bird which can swim, so they swim with their flippers, right? So the animals are having a different movement habit, right? Some of the birds like ostrich, emu, cassowaries, they are birds, but their wings are not properly developed, so they cannot fly. They are known as flightless birds, right? And last topic of this chapter was migration. What is the meaning of migration? A large scale movement from one place to another place in search of favorable conditions, right? Many animals are migrating from one place to another place for favorable conditions like temperature, food and giving birth or laying eggs. Many birds like Siberian crane, they travel from the other part of the world to India in winter season to get the favorable temperature. Many fish like salmon fish, they go from sea to river area to lay their eggs, right? So migration is also important because it helps in the survival of animals, right? Maybe they are in search of water, maybe they are in search of proper temperature, maybe they are migrating because they want to give birth to their young ones or they want to lay eggs, right? So these are the three factors due to which animals are migrating, right? So that also we have covered. So I hope you remembered all that things, right? Again I am repeating that you have to read the textbook for objective paper. The way I am giving you the objective paper at the end, or you can say chapter and worksheet, the GE section is always of the question from the textbook which you have to find out on your own, right? So in exam also I will ask a question, so please read the textbook. So here I have completed the revision of first two chapter, right? I hope you have understood and you have recalled what we have learned, right? So please read the textbook. I am taking a leave now. We are going to meet in the next session, right? So best of luck. Bye bye.